everybody, it's Lon.TV, and the two things that I value most when I am making YouTube videos is efficiency and simplicity in the gear that I use. And my friends from Sennheiser, who are right up the road here in Connecticut, sent this new wireless audio system for me to check out. It's a wireless microphone system called the Evolution Wireless Digital. This is their D1 base station. This is the little body pack that you use, and it comes with a lavalier microphone. They have a version available for vocal artists also, so if you're a singer and you want to hold a microphone, they've got a handheld mic version. There's also one for instrumental music too, and I think they have an on-camera version coming out very shortly also. What's unique about this is that it doesn't require any configuration. So on a lot of wireless systems, you have to pick a channel for it to operate on, and if you get interference in the middle of whatever you're doing, you have to go and manually switch the channels on everything to get it to work right. And if you're in the middle of producing a video or doing a stage show or something like that, that is definitely not an ideal circumstance to have to deal with. This one does it automatically for you, and it does it really well. So this is operating on the 2.4 gigahertz frequencies, so very similar, actually the same frequencies that Wi-Fi operates on. But what it's doing is constantly monitoring all of the available channels that it can use within that frequency range, and will automatically switch its frequencies with the body pack here constantly if it notices something going awry in the middle of a production. It's also keeping two redundant connections back and forth, so if one should fail, it just falls over to the other one. You don't even know it's happening. So it's doing all of this for you in the background, and it's really good for things like what I'm doing here, where I don't have an audio engineer. I don't have anybody here besides me at the moment. So it's great that I don't have to worry about playing back a good take on one of my reviews that I'm doing, only to hear that my audio dropped out midstream because of some kind of interference. This really doesn't have that problem, which is really, really nice. The hardware is also very nicely constructed. So you've got the base station here. I'll show you the body pack in a second. Very simple here, as everything is with this product. You got the power cord here, very easy to pull it out and push it back in. It's got a lot of room there to grab it with. I have the balanced audio going out to my mixer right now, but you can also use an unbalanced jack over there. So I think it's one of those quarter-inch jacks. There's also a Ethernet port here, which is going to work with a app that they have coming out very shortly. It's not ready yet at the time that I'm recording this video, but I'll do a follow-up, which I'll link above, so you can check that out when it's made available. And you'll be able to actually configure this device from a wireless iPad or an Android device or something like that. So if you're in a concert hall and you want to adjust things when you're in a specific portion of the room, you can do that using an iPad and standing where you want to stand and actually control the device remotely, which is very handy there. I'm going to step through the menu system in a minute, but you can access the menus here with this device. And there's also a nice body pack, which I've talked about already, but there's nothing to it really. You just turn it on. That's all there is to it. There isn't any channels to configure. You just pair it up, and it actually comes paired right out of the box, so there really isn't much to do. And on the top there is a mute switch, and what's cool is that you can actually disable this on the base station. So if you want to prevent somebody from inadvertently muting themselves while they're on stage, you can prevent that switch from working from the base. So that's a pretty nice safety measure there. It runs on AA batteries. I'll do a little cut here so you can see what that looks like. So you can very easily swap batteries back and forth with it. You could probably keep a couple of these little battery doors here, and when you plug the batteries in, it'll immediately turn the transmitter back on. So you don't have to turn it on and wait to pair it up. It'll just immediately come back to life. So if you're doing a quick swap in between, maybe in an intermission or something, you can do that very quickly. It runs on AA's because a lot of people in production like to use fresh, retail batteries out of the box, not using rechargeables. But I am using rechargeables right now on this, and it's working well. But a lot of professionals don't like to, have a rechargeable battery fail on them in the middle of something, so they often go with the regular alkalines and swap them out frequently. So it does swaps very nicely. Both of these are assembled in the United States, at least the version that I have here, and very solidly constructed. So all metal. It's definitely going to be able to take a beating and survive it, because it is really rock solid on both devices here. The microphone connects to the top, and, like you would any other microphone, just like plugging it in, but it also screws down, so you can't accidentally just pull the microphone out if you're flailing your arms around mid-performance or something. It's going to stay put in there, and there's also a nice belt clip that is very, very tight, so it's going to really stay put when you're walking around with this thing. The range on it is really good, actually. It is 2.4 gigahertz, so it is susceptible to walls and boxes and audience members and that sort of thing, so you may want to do some testing before you go out and set it up in your environment that you're going to to be in, but I found it to work pretty well as I've walking around the house and doing that sort of thing. It's been keeping a pretty decent signal. You get the signal and the battery level on both the body pack as well as the base station. So if something were to go wrong, this display will actually light up white. So even if you're at a distance away from it, you'll be able to see very quickly what's going on. And if you do have the luxury of an audio engineer, they can keep an eye on the battery level of the battery pack and know when they need to do a swap while they're out there, as well as monitor its signal strength too. So pretty cool setup here. Again, very easy to set up, and you just turn it on, and if it should ever lose pairing, it's as simple as pairing up a game controller to a Wii. Hit the pair button on both ends and you're ready to go. So let's take a look at some of the available options here on the base station. You access the menu just by pushing in the navigation device here, and it has a nice click to it, really nice feel to it. The first item here is the walk test, and you can do this when you're in an environment looking to get everything tested to make sure the range will work in each of the places your people might be walking in. And that walk test will give you this display on both devices. You can have one person looking here, and of course somebody else can be checking the body pack here. This tick here means that it is in a good signal condition. If it ever encounters anything that's not so good, you will see a little warning triangle pop up, and it will stay on, so you know that there's some place in your walking environment that you're going to have some issues that need to be addressed. But it's nice to have that on there. You can name the system here, so if you have a bunch of these things operating simultaneously, you'll know which one goes to what, and I think that'll be important also when you're connecting via the app. And when that app does come out, I'm going to do a follow-up video on that. Network settings are in here, so you can connect via Ethernet. Does not have Wi-Fi built in, but you can hardwire it to a network switch or something, and then connect that to a wireless access point if you want to access it from an iPad or something. So it'll do DHCP, or you can set the IP address manually. In the system settings, there isn't much really to this at all. You can go through and adjust things like the display brightness and some of the locking features on it. You also can get an idea as to which firmware you're operating under. Under audio settings, there are of course a few more here. So there's a couple of different things to look at. You've got some of your basic filters like the low cut filter, the equalizer you can turn on here, and make some adjustments. I'm not going to do it right now because it might screw up when while I'm talking here, but you can have settings for different kinds of things that you might be recording. So you have some available equalizer options there. There's a de-esser as well as auto gain control, and you can also set the audio level here manually. So if you're not getting enough output out of it, you can boost that up, and you have the choice between line and mic depending on what you're plugging it into. So that is the Evolution wireless system from Sennheiser. This kit is about $700 as configured, so it's pretty much in line with other professional wireless systems from Sennheiser. It is very high quality, of course, but it's also very simple to use, and this is important for a couple of reasons. The first is that it is constantly maintaining the best frequency to operate on, so you're not going to get static or other interference issues introduced right into the middle of your production most of the time, if not all the time, because it is actively maintaining that for you. A lot of wireless systems are fixed to the frequency that you set them to, and if you have something happen in the middle of a production, you're out of luck, and you're gonna have to go in and manually adjust those things. This really maintains a very nice high quality signal all the time without having to do any intervention on it, which is really nice. What's also nice is that the body pack here doesn't have any buttons on it, so on a lot of those other systems you can easily just switch the frequency on it by accident and lose everything completely and have to get somebody up to go ahead and reset all that stuff. There's no buttons on here at all besides the pair button, and it's really hard to do something inadvertently to knock your talent off the air. So a very nice, simple system that works when you plug it in, and that is, for me, one of the most important things, but you get a really high quality product too. This is Lon.TV. Thanks for watching.